Hello everyone, welcome to a new DSP video. Hopefully this will be a chill video. We're going to be going through DSP's Twitter, his pre-stream podcast, and maybe a few clips here and there. But let's get right into it with his little Twitter rants.
I find Twitter's becoming less and less functional since the buyout. My For You feed is now 80% junk I would never want, even after flagging it as such. Hard to find real news on here between all the shitposts and nonsense, which may be intentional? Who knows?
I always find it funny that DSP complains about functionality on this site when there are days that there was actual issues with Twitter functionality that DSP never complained about or even knew about. There was one instance where if you made a tweet, no one could reply to it because it would just keep airing out. I would try to reply to someone and it just would not let me reply. That got remedied. That got fixed within a couple hours. And there's all these other functionality issues with the site since the buyout that DSP never talked about. The only functionality that DSP has talked about when he's complaining is just stuff that is algorithm issues, which has been an issue with the site even before Elon bought it. Algorithms have always been an issue with Twitter. Twitter trying to find some way to monetize the site to make it some money, that kind of shit has always been an issue. Twitter has a lot of issues, and Elon introduced new issues, but some of these issues that specifically DSP has been bringing up have been issues for years. So that's why I think this is kind of a clown tweet in that kind of way. The For You tab being completely garbage in of itself is an issue with exposure for artists. I've seen this being more of an issue for that, and other issues too for other organizations, that kind of deal. But for artists, it's been extremely harsh because a lot of artists get their living out of people buying commissions or supporting them, and they get that through their art being exposed by people retweeting it, seeing it. If a game is trending like Guilty Gear, let's say, people would see fan art of Guilty Gear, then they might get commissions through that kind of instance. Through the For You section, that has been increasingly hard because the algorithm has been favoring a lot of controversial takes, that kind of stuff, because it's an algorithm. You're never gonna get a very great feed through that. And artists have been running into all these kind of issues with the site, but that's been an issue in general. But it's just the For You tab makes it a little bit harder. The following tab makes it harder for you to see everyone you follow. But I think that's just been an issue in general. If you follow 1,000 fucking accounts, I kind of find it hard to believe you'll see 1,000 of your accounts in one feed, in my opinion. But whatever. It's just been other issues that DSP doesn't really experience because it's DSP. And I also find it funny that he's complaining about Twitter as well when he went out of his way years ago to say that, oh, I'm done making tweets on Twitter. It's just going to be a business Twitter account where I'm just going to talk about schedules and stuff like that. And he's complaining about this when it doesn't really matter. He doesn't really use Twitter in a very meaningful way that he thinks he does. And then to say that he gets news from here, like the last part where it says that, it's hard to get real news, man, because you get shitposts and nonsense. That's always been a case on Twitter, in my opinion, even before Elon, because when you go to a trending topic and you click the trending topic, you'll see people shitposting about it and all this kind of stuff. The thing that I kind of view as kind of admitting, not really knowingly, is that he gets his news from the Twitter summaries, because the one thing I did like about Twitter before Elon bought it was that when you see something trending, it would give you at least some context as to why something's trending. So you don't have to scroll through 1,000 tweets to get to the context of it. And that's gone, because obviously, what happened. DSP, it's been so clear. He's been getting his news by reading Twitter summaries and reading Twitter little blurbs. And now that's through shitposts and people who pay for Twitter getting pushed on the For You tab and all that kind of stuff. It's it's going to be harder for guys like him to get news because they don't really go through the extra mile to actually read an article. It's pure laziness. Because if this dude really cared about fucking news, he would find a website he would kind of read. And we'll get into that a little bit more because he talks about it in his little pre-stream. But it's so fucking stupid. He complains about shitposting and nonsense when that's been always the case for Twitter. Twitter's always been shitposting all the time. Okay, let's get on to the next tweet.
Everyone who is not paying for Twitter Blue has now lost their old verified checkmark. Anyone with Blue is literally paying for fake clout and nothing else. This feature offered for the subscription are, in my opinion, pretty worthless. Viral tweets do not help a business.
This is immensely funny coming from DSP because the thing is that it is to me personally, it is kind of funny that people are paying for Twitter. Like, who the fuck would pay for Twitter? Am I right? Correct? So that's a meme of its own. But it's funny for DSP to have that take at the very end, like viral tweets don't help a business, when this dude has been bragging about his viral tweets. Like, there are pre-streams of him bragging and flexing his fucking tweets.
I made a tweet to the Oscars, and it ratioed the Oscars. Oh my god, man! Like, dude, like right now. Okay, let's see. Oh, dude, my Oscar tweet, my viral Oscar tweet got like 100,000 likes, man. Welcome, everyone who has liked my tweet about the Oscars. Welcome to the stream.
He has been bragging about his own fucking tweets for years. When Twitter added a view count to their to tweets now, where you can see how many people viewed a tweet, DSP loved it. He loved that he could see the view count on his tweets because it makes him feel good. Because this dude's a number man. He loves seeing numbers. He's a number monster. It's fucking stupid. I think it's really dumb that Twitter enabled that. It's such a dumb fucking stat because, like, what does it really measure? It's really stupid. It's such a dumb thing. I kind of fucking hate the that it tracks views now because it gets in the way of me hitting like now. Damn it. That's right. Yeah, I'm complaining about laziness. But it's such a dumb metric because it only bolsters people like DSP to send themselves in a false state of like, wow, people love me. I've 4,000 views on a tweet. Like, what does that really mean? Like, people that scroll through Twitter, that counts as a view, and that could be a passive view. Like, what does it really measure? So it's really stupid in my opinion. But this dude loved it. He loved the view count on tweets. This dude is it's such a fucking clown. And I think this dude is, in a way, he has addictive problems. He has addiction problems. Like, people say that he's addicted to mobile games, and that's true, man. Come on, look what he's doing, man. This dude has so many issues, and you definitely see that when shit like this happens, when he's forcibly removed from the check marks, and then being told if you have a check mark, you'll be pushed onto the For You tab of everyone's feed. He then has to cope, saying, Yeah, man, that's stupid. Fuck Twitter Blue. Yeah. Because he doesn't get the benefit. And he doesn't want to spend money on it. But if he didn't lose the Twitter checkmark, if he didn't lose it, he would love it. He would love everything that's going on. Because his tweets would be pushed to everyone on the For You tab. Unless Elon changed that ID he had. But all this stuff, it's like, this is stuff that he would love. But since he had to pay for it, I'm not doing that. Fuck that, man. So he has to side with the people who criticize it. It's such a meaningless statement coming from DSP that it's, as I said before, this dude is such a bad faith kind of guy. He earns so much bad faith, I can't take any of his criticism seriously. Like, that's what happens. You happen to defend something you dislike because DSP hates it. It's insane. Like, DSP hates Last of Us 2, and he'll make you defend it because his takes are so fucking stupid. But this is such a dumb statement for him to say, especially when this dude has been thirsting for viral tweets over time. Every time. Okay, dude. Um, it's also funny if you go back when they were talking about Twitter Blue and you could buy a Twitter checkmark. He did say if the subscription offers more than just a checkmark, maybe I'll sub to it. He teased that idea, and then like in reality, like there are other perks that Twitter Blue offers, and DSP just I don't need that because he just doesn't want to pay the $8 because this dude is pathetic. Like, I agree that people should not be paying for Twitter. It's a fucking stupid ass website. Who would pay for Twitter? Come on, think about that for a second. But uh this take is immensely just full of irony from this guy. Viral tweets don't help the business. On one hand, he's kind of right, but on the other hand, he's not. Because there's been so many artists that have gotten popular out of trends. Like, there was a whole thing about redrawing a Sailor Moon frame that a lot of people got exposed because of that. Oh, look at this artist! This artist did a very cool style of that scene from Sailor Moon, that kind of stuff. People got their popularity through that. So on one hand, he's only right in the sense that it didn't help him. That's what he's right about. It didn't help his business, but on the other hand, it helped other people's get some notoriety or some people to look at their art a little bit more. But now it's getting harder to get that viral success for artists because this algorithm doesn't really help them in that kind of way. Again, this is a whole other like discussion that we don't need to get into because this is a DSP video and not a very thoughtful video. You know what I mean? So let's get into the pre-stream, man.
First of all, I'm just gonna say this because I said this during my day off on Twitter. All right. Oh, you know what? I gotta tell the Phil's day off. I'll tell the Phil's day off segment in a second. It's not a big one.
Oh, thank God! Thank God.
Twitter is falling apart.
Twitter is falling
Elon
apart.
Musk has no idea.
Twitter's been falling apart for like months now. I do agree. When Elon bought it, there was an over exaggeration of what was going to happen to Twitter because literally Twitter is not gone. Twitter's not going away or whatever. There are issues with the site that did happen and all that kind of stuff, which is like, it is what it is. But to say that it's now falling apart because of this is kind of silly. I just think it's been falling apart anyway. It's been falling apart even before Elon, to be fair. Like, I'm not going to say Elon was the harbinger of Twitter's demise. I just think Elon is actually the one of the symptoms of Twitter falling apart. Because if you think about it, Jack, who used to own Twitter, sold it because it wasn't making him much money and all this kind of stuff, and he just sold it to Elon, and then it just kept going. So I just think that Twitter was always falling apart anyway. Elon was just one of the things that just kind of came along with that kind of trajectory of it failing, because you always want to sell something off that's not working, and hopefully the next guy who buys it can either fix it or it's their problem, that kind of deal. So Twitter's always been kind of like falling apart forever. It's always been a hell site. To go full circle, I wouldn't say it's 100% Elon's fault. I just would say that Elon's not helping the site either. So it's just a perpetual avalanche of failure, I guess is the way to say it. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't put the blame all on Elon himself. It's a number of factors. He's just one of the factors, man.
He's doing, and now he's finally starting to institute the big changes. So now everyone's losing their legacy check marks. Anyone who was verified previously has lost their check mark or is losing them.
Oh, and the other thing is that he did praise the Twitter Blue thing of having Twitter having unlimited characters. He did praise it for that, by the way. I think I vaguely remember him saying, "Oh, that's a good idea, man."
I lost mine already, and others are losing them as well. The site is essentially becoming a cesspool of shit, and what I mean by that is
it's always been a cesspool. It literally has been a cesspool. It hasn't changed. Come on, that has not changed. There's something that just haven't changed. Sure, you could say, "Oh, some more toxic people have entered the site," but it's like, you know what I mean? It's always been the case.
Anything of use on the site anymore. Like, it used to be.
But this is why it sucks, because he can't get use out of it. If he can't get use of it, the site sucks. Before this day that happened, when all that stuff is going on, Twitter was fine, man. Twitter was fine. No issues. No complaints. Oh, he got inconvenienced. Now the site sucks, right? Correct?
Twitter used to be my major source.
Like, I follow people on Twitter that had their account got locked for no reason. Like, they just said, they're like, yeah, I tried to log back in, my account was locked, and I don't know why. There's been no issues with my account. Like, and these are accounts that don't, like, post problematic things. It's not like that this person posted, NSFW content, gory news stories, or anything like that. This person, like, never did any of that. And his account got, like, locked for no reason. Like, that happened to a few people that I followed. And it's like, okay, so what about that? But that since that never happened in DSP, the site's been fine. Oh, he got inconvenienced, the site sucks now, it's terrible. Like, that's what I don't like about DSP complaining about Twitter. It's that it's always about how it affects him. If it affects him, the site sucks. If it doesn't affect him, the site's fine. Okay.
Of news and information. Now, my
dude, floss your teeth. Look at this.
Twitter used to be my major source.
He's doing that because he had breakfast and he's getting food out of his teeth. I mean, he could, floss his teeth maybe, but no, that would require like some forward thinking.
Of news and information. Now, my feed is junk. Like, I go to
by the way,
my feed where it used to be.
He goes to For You. Never go to For You. Never do that. Just stick to the following tab. And the following tab isn't perfect either, but it's better than For You. The other thing okay, so I will say one positive thing that Elon did to Twitter. This is the one thing I stand behind him on this. I like that if you make a list on Twitter, you can make a list on Twitter. That can add to the little tabs on Twitter. So like I have For You, following. I made a list called Artist Jams where I just add all these artists I want to follow into this list. So that way I can just go straight to them. So now that's also on my main page. So you could do that. I also have like a feed for DSP stuff, so that's also its own feed as well. So that is the one thing I will say I do like, that I can actually get to these lists far easily. So I do like that. That is something I think is a good addition to the site. So I will give Elon that. That was a good decision. That big ups on that.
To be all pertinent things to my interests and things that I was following, and now I get shitpost. I'm not even kidding. Accounts that are called shitpost. I'm like, why is this here? I never follow this. I never watched one of these. I don't want this. I keep blocking, and more of them get added. Now I've got
because the people he follows may follow them. Okay, let's look at the people DSP follows. Who does he follow? He's following 75 accounts. Let's see. Bracket fights, tier maker? Really? Accounting botched. Okay, what is the accounting botched fucking post? Oh, look, a shit post. The first thing I see is a shit post. No context, Russia. Okay. Tony, co-founder of. Okay. Smooth Cat. That's a private account. Retro. Ness. Charlie. Seth Killian. Okay. I am the guy. Okay. Like, look at these accounts he follows. These accounts are like random accounts. Game Tracker. He follows Game Tracker. What does Game Tracker post? Show me all these tweets today expressing so much anger. Oh, you just found out that people in power don't care about you? Oh my god, it's one of these accounts. One of these people. The city of Renton. Look at these accounts. WWE Network. What's that? What's WWE Network? Tell me, DSP. Like, he follows all these, like, FaZe? He follows FaZe? Is this the guy that you keep hearing about? I hear someone talking about FaZe all the time. What is this? What is this? What is this game? I want to know what this game is. What the fuck? Okay, this must be. Oh, that must be his old mobile game days. Oh, it's a Revexius thing. Okay. Revan, man. But like, look at these accounts he follows. But he's like, why do I get shit posts? Well, look at the accounts you follow, buddy.
Sports. I've never fucking watched anything of sports ever on Twitter, and I keep getting sports in my feed. So what's happened is he changed the algorithm.
Now, the other thing is that this dude has been made it a point to say that, oh, if I see hashtag ad that's black, click black, click black. Remember when he had that big rant about shills on Twitter and he wants to block all of them or whatever? This is a tweet I saw years ago that I always think about time to time. Because Twitter has these promoted tweets on your feed, and if you block all of them, like, you're gonna eventually see a lot of weird promoted tweets. I keep thinking about that because I've made it to that point where I'm starting to see weird fucking shit, and I like seeing like weird promoted tweets that I always get a kick out of. So he's blocking all these accounts that talk about games and all this stuff because they're shills, correct? So eventually he's gonna see random stuff.
Or told his employees to change the algorithm to shove things down your throat that you don't want, and it just becomes a chore now to use the site. I'm just trying to look for fucking game news today to report on the podcast, and I gotta sift through 40 posts of fucking feces. And the funny part is, he thinks he's doing good. If you actually look at the
DSP, everyone who runs the business, they all think they're doing good. To be honest. I mean, DSP's business is bad, and he thinks he's doing good.
He's saying, like, oh, we're monetizing now. Would you pay to subscribe to someone on Twitter? I want you to think about this for a second. Would you pay money to subscribe?
This rant he's saying, he said the same shit. The same shit when it came to YouTube Red. There were rants. Would you really pay to subscribe to a YouTuber you already subscribe to? What do you pay for that? Really? Same rants. But you damn well know if Elon said, oh yeah, people like DSP could get paid on Twitter, he'd do it immediately. And say it's interactive.
Someone on Twitter.
Twitter.
What meaningful content is shared on Twitter that you would need to pay for, right? Nothing. But he's monetized Twitter in this case, so you can follow people. What premium content of any value would be put onto Twitter? Nothing. It's bullshit.
But it offers like other stuff like this dude pays for so many subscription services that he's convinced that all subscription services have to offer media. They all have to offer media. Twitter Blue is not a media subscription. It's a subscription that offers a functionality to a site that gives you some benefits. Like, yeah, I don't think the benefits are like super great. Like, why? Like, I don't give a shit about the unlimited character limit. Like, I'm fine with the character limit as it is. It helps me keep my point concise and to the point. I don't have to sit there and be like, all right, let's write an essay to talk about why biking is the best skill to your character. You know, I don't need to make a whole essay about that. I could do that in less than 280 characters.
Fluff. Only if you're like a super fan of ball sucker of someone would you pay for a subscription. Well,
and I like how he says this, and he's like toxifying the idea of like paying to subscribe to your favorite content creator, correct? Then you could kind of use the same logic about his YouTube join button. Would you really join to DSP Gaming? You get to subscribe to him and just watch the content for free. Why would you want to join? Just download Adblock, man.
He wants people to be super fan ball suckers because he's instituted this. He's telling all these celebrities, everyone, do paid subscriptions, make money on Twitter. For what? To show me picking my nose? The fuck do you want to see on my Twitter feed that's worth paying for? Like, what are you talking about? It's not like I can give, like, for example, if you were to subscribe to me on Twitter, what could I realistically give you? I can't give you premium emotes. I can't give you perks.
This is what he wants. But I don't understand what the fuck he's talking. This is really fucking stupid. Because the Twitter Blue subscription model shit, I don't know what he thinks it is. Because they're paying Elon technically. I mean, in a roundabout way. Like the subscription service is to the website itself. That's what Twitter Blue is. And you're paying to get a check mark, and you're paying to get unlimited character, uh, unlimited character on in tweets, that kind of stuff. And I think you also post longer videos too. So it gives you all these benefits. And these are like, well, I can't give you emotes, man. But like, you're not making the money though. Elon is making the money because it's Twitter Blue. I think there is like a method for people to make money through Twitter though, but that's something completely different that I don't even think is necessarily tied to Twitter Blue, if I'm not mistaken.
I can't do any of that on Twitter. None of that exists. But he just wants people to pay for his
No,
service for no reason.
I like how he's saying that though, but what if that becomes the case though? I mean, things change all the time. Like this is the other issue I've said about DSP all the time, that DSP never learned, is that you never know if anything's certain, correct? Like, for all I know, right now Twitter sucks, and maybe 5 years from now Elon's gonna hire more people to like function the site better. Maybe the site's gonna get better. You know, I can't see into the future. I can say right now the site's pretty bad, and I could say that I don't like what the site has become, that kind of stuff. But I'm not gonna sit there and say these definitive, like, the site's garbage forever and will never change and never improve. Fuck this website, because that's not necessarily true. Even then, I could even imagine that Elon may eventually sell the site to someone else. Like, anything can happen. But to have these like very total like points is kind of like childish.
Reason. So now I want you to pay for a blue check mark. He wants you to pay to subscribe to someone. For what? There's no fucking content. All the content on Twitter is redirected to a third-party site where the content is found. No, none of it is housed on Twitter. But he thinks his site has value. There's no value. It's the stupidest thing.
Again, the value is for the user themselves. Like, Elon wanting the celebrities to be verified is just that him telling him, hey, you want to be verified, just pay. Like, that's all he's saying. He's not saying, oh man, pay so that way your followers can also pay. Like, this dude has really bad reading comprehension. Like, he doesn't really understand what anything is going on, I guess. He's very confused.
He spent so much money on this website. Billions of dollars. He overvalued it so he could buy it, and now he's pissing money away, and he can't find a way to basically make it viable. So he's just saying, charge for this, charge for this, charge for this, and no one's doing it, by the way. Very few people are jumping on this bandwagon of spend money on something that's been free forever. That's the problem with the premise of Twitter right now. Twitter started as a free site that was social media and considered almost an internet commodity. Something free that is purposeful.
I don't think commodity is the right word, because commodities are usually stuff that you pay for, isn't it? Correct?
You can have discussion, it's dissemination of news, but now he's trying to monetize it and make it a paid-for service. You can't give someone something for free and then change your mind. And
again, this is also, like, again, stretching what's actually going on. This dude is an idiot. I hate it so much, because this isn't what's happening. It's something completely different. He's monetizing verification. The monetizing verification and then talking about feeds and social feeds are completely different discussions and completely different things, because you can still use Twitter as it is. This issue with the algorithm has been an issue for years. I mean, again, he's merging these two problems into one, and it's like a Frankenstein monster of stuff that doesn't, like, work. And it's fucking stupid. It's fucking stupid. And it's also ironic coming from him saying, you can offer something for free and then charge for it. Dude, you used to wear the vest for free. The vest used to be a free thing. He wore it for free numerous times. But now you have to pay $150 for him to put on a vest. What about that, Phil?
Try to make it paid for later. That doesn't work. You have to make it paid for from the get-go. Then you will have that.
His Patreon multiplayer event, that was also a free event he used to do. And then he made it a Patreon event. He has done this too. He's guilty of this too. You can his YouTube archives are now monetized. They used to be free, by the way. Now it's you have to become a member to get the VOD. But okay.
Have that mindset. It's a pay-for service, and people will judge
But I
value
guess
based
that's
off of that.
slightly
You cannot
different
say
though,
this
because
is
like
free
he made it private, but you know.
and now charge for it and think there will be perceived value. There is no perceived value of Twitter, none. And he doesn't understand that. He's one of the richest people in the world, and he's too stupid to understand that. He's essentially a dumb businessman. I don't know where the money comes from. I really don't at this point. He's blowing up rockets and shit. He's launching rockets that explode,
God.
and people are applauding.
Do you know how family
Yes,
inheritance works?
Amazing.
I mean, you know, Elon has
Good for you. Piss your money.
You know,
away.
his family is rich too.
Anyway,
DSP. That's how
Twitter
he's
is
able
falling apart.
to fuck around.
It's getting harder for me to use it. So I'm gonna do my best to try to find you guys news stories.
And I don't think
but
anyone was applauding the
problem is
rocket
outside of Twitter, which
exploding,
used to
but
be a
whatever.
neutral hub that would kind of filter stories and find the best ones. You'd have to rely on third-party sites to find news. It's like, do I want to go to IGN? Do I want to go to fucking Kotaku? No, I don't want to go to these sites because they all have a spin or they all only focus on things that they're...
No, look at this. Look at this. He doesn't want to go to IGN or Kotaku because they put his pin. But the gaming news he puts out, it's really dumb for many reasons. One, he according to DSP, he's for like less crunch time and all this kind of stuff, which also aligns with IGN and Kotaku's kind of like articles that he puts out. But also, if you could read these articles and then also disagree with them, just be like, that's the other thing. Like, I've seen people like just read Kotaku articles and they may not agree with Kotaku or all these other articles and all this kind of stuff. It's fine to read articles and still disagree with them. Like, it's not like, you know, whatever. You're at least getting some kind of information from these articles that you may not even agree with. Whatever. I think it's fine to read articles you don't agree with so that you have an understanding of like what the other side's saying, that kind of shit. But the news that he reports on, even aside that he's for like no crunch time and that kind of stuff, are like milquetoast fucking news. The game got delayed. What kind of spin is there? Like what if Kotaku reports that Tears of the Kingdom got delayed. He reports that, and he has reported from IGN in the past. This is the other fucking dumb shit he's complaining about. He's saying, oh, well, these other accounts, they have a spin, man. DSP, you have reported from IGN in your fucking pre-streams in the past anyway. And now you don't follow those accounts? And he also reads Forbes, too, about games. So this dude is a massive clown. Massive clown. What he's complaining about that he's not saying, but he's saying it like indirectly, in between the lines, is that he just reads the headlines of the fucking Twitter accounts. He just reads the Twitter summaries. That's what he's complaining about. That's why he reports from IGN and stuff like that, because he doesn't go to the website. He goes to Twitter and reports what they report anyway. This dude is he's complaining about laziness. Laziness!
They're interested in for their own personal benefit. So it's kind of hard to find a neutral place to find game news. It's going to be harder. If Twitter continues down this shitty slope that it's going down, and it becomes less and less useful and more just bloated with garbage, paid for garbage, the site essentially is not going to be a good news site anymore.
Dude, you know what? Shouts out Big Bun Game Club. We actually cover news stories, correct? You know, we have a little channel on our Discord. Sometimes we share the news stories in there and all that kind of stuff. And we discuss the news stories. So, guys, imagine one day we're gonna be tuning into a DSP pre-stream. They gonna say, "Well, guys, let's get to the news." Yes, there's news. They may be wondering where I'm getting the news from, everyone. Well, it's from a podcast I just started listening to called the Big Bun Game Club. Yes. Now, from what I understand, the host, Theo, he makes videos complaining about me, but they're like logical videos. Like, he's not like the talk successful evil people. He's like actually reasonable, and he's actually kind of funny, man. he talks about Guilty Gear a lot though. So like, I guess if you love Guilty Gear, like you're gonna love Theo's content. But like, in the Big Bun Game Club, they talk about this and that, blah blah blah. So Matt, we're getting into a future where DSP is gonna get news from the Big Bun Game Club. That would be wild. That's gonna be wild to see. I'm gonna be surprised if that happens.
I'm gonna do my best to keep you guys news stories, but it's gonna get harder when the one place that used to be neutral is no longer gonna be neutral. It's just gonna be a.
Oh, you know what? But you know what's gonna happen though? Since he's complaining about it, some baby in his little chat is gonna send him all the news stories in his email. Hey Phil, I emailed you some news stories, man. Oh, thank you, dude. So I got a news story, and this was submitted by the viewers, man. This is so cool, man. I have a whole new viewer interaction, and now we have the viewers submitting news stories, man. Dude, oh my god, that is what's gonna happen. Holy shit, dude. This dude's content is gonna get... Oh my god, dude. This is where DSP's content is going. His entire content, everything, is gonna be carried by the viewer. The viewer submits videos for him to watch on DSP Reacts. The viewer tells him what big React video they want to see in the React event. They have to pick the games that he has to play. Dude, his viewers are soon gonna have to send him news stories. They're gonna have to send it to him because this dude is so lazy. Oh, that's gonna be wild. Okay. Anyway.
I said my little blurb there about it. Now let's move on.
Let's move on. I agree.
So get this. Nintendo is adding 4 new Sega Genesis games to
this is good.
Paid premium service. If you have the Nintendo Switch Online Plus experience,
this shows you how little he paid attention to Nintendo, by the way. Like how dumb this is.
The N64 games. Well, it's also going to include the following 4 to its paid premium service. If you have the Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion, which is the one that has the N64 games, well, it's also going to include the following 4 games. Okay, Pulseman, Street Fighter 2 Special Champion Edition, Kid Chameleon, and Flicky. Now, the thing that gets me about this, which makes me scratch my head, is that the 16-bit games used to be included for free.
Hold up, I need this clip. I need not the clip, but I need this.
Guess what? Wrong.
The Genesis has at launch been part of the premium subscription service with the N64. The Genesis was never offered in the lower tier. DSP has pignatized himself into thinking the Genesis was part of the base tier of Nintendo Online. That wasn't the case. The Genesis was with the N64 from the get-go. And DSP, being DSP, and his love for Nintendo, didn't know this, so he has to spin a conspiracy around it.
In the standard Nintendo Online subscription. But now Nintendo seems to be sneaking in, you can get more games if you pay for the higher level subscription. Wait a minute, what?
Wait a minute.
No, that wasn't the arrangement. The arrangement was, if you want N64 games...
No. Wrong. I watched the Nintendo Direct DSP where they announced this. It was part of that expansion. Where did you get this information that wasn't part of the arrangement? It was part of the arrangement, dumbass.
You would pay for the higher level subscription. At some point, Nintendo switched it.
At some point? No, idiot.
But no one's really been paying attention, apparently.
You're not paying attention! You!
Yes, you!
The Genesis was never part of the other tier. It was always been part of the N64 one. DSP is so fucking stupid. He didn't know this and thinks there's a mass conspiracy about it. And his love for Nintendo thinks that Nintendo is just being a scammer. DSP, you're a fucking idiot. You don't know anything. And he wants to be the news source. He wants to be the one for his viewers to go to get news, and he can't get that right. He's incorrect.
Because that was what it originally was a year or two ago, was pay more for N64, pay for the standard if you want 16 and 8-bit. But now they changed it.
No.
Because here's the thing. I would be very
And it's
interested.
so funny. No one corrected him on this. No one corrected him. The comment section does not correct this at all. They all talk about Dead Island 2. Like, oh, I can't wait to see you play it.
All right. In playing Street Fighter 2 Special Champion Edition. Do you want to know why? Because Special Champion Edition is arguably a horrendous joke of an edition of a Street Fighter game. It's funny that it's so bad, but a lot of people played this as their version of Street Fighter 2 in the 90s because they only had a Genesis, they didn't have a Super Nintendo. Okay? I rented it and played it, and yikes. Let's just put it that way. Yikes.
But wasn't the Championship Edition in that Capcom Fighting Collection though? I could have sworn it was part of that.
So I would love to play that game for you guys as a one-off stream and make fun of it because it really is. Wait till you hear the sound effects of that game are so bad. The freaking music is atrociously bad. Okay. So basically, it sucks because like I saw this announcement. I'm like, oh, Nintendo Online. Maybe we could do this during the weekend or this coming week or two. We could do a one-off stream of Street Fighter 2 Special Championship Edition. That'd be fun. Oh no, it's only for the premium online service. And I'm like, but I don't get it. I really don't understand. It was supposed to be only N64 games were that, and now they're adding 64 games in there instead.
Incorrect.
They're not saying anything. Why? Because it's Nintendo, and Nintendo can do nothing wrong.
Look how dumb this fucking guy is! No one's complaining because Nintendo can't do no. No one's complaining because the Genesis was part of that premium tier since it launched, dumbass. Like, this is... And it's so fucking ironic coming from DSP. This misinformation. He says that the trolls get misinformation all the time and spread it. He's spreading misinformation right now in this fucking pre-stream by saying this because it's not true. It's factually not true. And he says, well, no one's complaining about it because because Nintendo can't do no wrong because they're fans, man. No one's complaining about it because that was always the case, dumbass. Like, goddamn. The fucking hate boner he has for Nintendo is special. I've never seen someone try so hard to hate Nintendo as hard as DSP. My god.
Right?
Right?
Yeah.
And no one corrected that.
An interesting story.
No one.
Okay. Michael Barclay.
Who?
Used to work for EA.
Oh.
And used to be
EA.
in charge of Star Wars Battlefront. Now you might say, wait a minute, Star Wars Battlefront? Do you mean that series?
Okay, we're gonna let's skip ahead.
The ones that came out in the 2000s, the ones that were
Let's
3 was already done. According to this guy who was the lead of the project.
wasn't
was
this
basically
already
saying,
known? I could have sworn this was already known.
that this game was 2 yards from the finish line.
But whatever.
And it was a great game, and it was ready to be played, and for some unknown reason, it was axed. And he's very upset about that because it's like, I guess you look at the modern Battlefronts and what happened to the franchise, and now it seems like the franchise is dead. Right?
Whatever.
No one's talking about reviving Battlefront or anything like that because a whole new dev team took up the reins and kind of ran it into the ground and didn't do a good job with it. Well, the original Battlefront trilogy had a third game that's basically unreleased. And I guess what's happened is there's been this lore over the years about why it happened and things like that, and no one could seem to really agree. But that's kind of sad to think that there would have been a Battlefield 3. Maybe Battlefield could have continued on, Battlefront, my bad. Battlefront could have continued on as its original series that it was, and maybe it could have continued to be a great franchise and everything.
Don't think
but
so.
What ended up happening was, during this time frame, Disney bought Star Wars. And when Disney bought Star Wars, Disney was currently at that time judging what they wanted to do with the franchise, and they had plans for reboots and everything. And they decided they really didn't want this game. And even though
This game was canceled before that purchase, though. But whatever. Okay. Okay.
They canceled it. That's sad. I would really like to see it come back, like maybe be revived in a modern way. That would be pretty neat. Because I'll be honest, Battlefront 1 and 2, which they really aren't, that came out in the last decade, weren't very good. They were very.
But that was the modern reimagining.
They didn't really capture the
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think it's gonna work. I don't think anyone cares anymore about it. Like people, I think there's been this slight burnout on Marvel movies, and I think it's gonna happen with Star Wars pretty soon. Like people are already kind of walking away from the Mandalorian. I've not heard a single peep about it. Like even people who I follow that I know that have been into like Star Wars stuff still have been like, yeah, this season is like so yeah. I kind of like lost interest in it, to be honest. I saw like one, maybe two episodes, and I didn't really care to go back. I just think what's dumb. This kind of burned it for me though. Uh, the fact that you would have to watch the Book of Boba Fett to get a story plot for the Mandalorian is really fucking stupid in my opinion. Like I should not have to watch another show to get a story scene for a different show. Like that's like watching like watch Cowboy Bebop and then watch Samurai Champloo to get a plot point for Cowboy Bebop. Like does that make any sense? No.
The originals were much more addictive and fun to play. And I don't know how they lost that in the new ones.
He liked Battlefront 2. I'm pretty sure he did. Because that had a story mode, dude. And it's great.
That being said,
he had the multiplayer though. That's true. He did hate that.
That this happened.
It's sad.
Maybe we will see Battlefront come back. I don't know. Last story. This is an interesting one.
Interesting.
Atari. Yes, Atari.
Atari.
Honestly,
oh
if
boy.
you think about Atari in the last few years.
All right, let's get to the point.
And it didn't do too well. Atari, get this, is buying up old PC and console titles from the 80s and 90s. Listen to this.
Listen to this.
Okay? Hold on a second. Bub Air Combat series. Okay?
Oh.
They're buying up all the rights to these games. Why?
Why?
Right? It's
Probably-
kind of weird.
Probably to keep the license to them. So no one
And
can
it kind
take
of
them.
scratch your head. Like, what exactly?
Companies do a lot of dumb
are
shit.
they
It's hard to
doing
like
with this,
rationalize
right?
it. Like,
Will they
come on.
revive the franchises? Are they looking to just make collections and release them? Start buying up old franchises.
But why is he
and
interested? He
launch
does.
them?
He has not played
So,
Bubsy.
there's a lot of speculation.
He skipped all the
Personally,
Bubsies.
I don't think they're going to be reviving them. I don't think Atari was really interested in taking an old series and making a new game out of it. But perhaps what they're trying to do is buy up a library of games that maybe in the future they could sell, you know, like for classics retention as well. Maybe because they've seen success of their own. I don't know. It's interesting to see, but not sure yet. You know, it's kind of a little. So let's see.
Let's see. Look at this news section. This might go away, guys.
Phil's Day Off.
Oh,
Ready for
Phil's Day
this?
Off. Are you ready?
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Phil's Day Off segment. Yes,
Fuck you, Phil.
Guess what?
This guy's constantly whining.
Yesterday was my day off from streaming. My one day off a week. And I had a ton planned. My wife and I had all these things to do because we hadn't been out in a few weeks. And we had all these things lined up that were kind of important but also fun things to do. And we're absolutely, you know, ready to go. And guess what happens?
Guess what
Last
happens?
night, well, 2 nights ago, excuse me, my wife starts to feel a little under the weather. And I'm like, oh no. Well, here's the problem. She's been working. And when she works
Oh no, she's sick. Bum bum
a
bum.
string of days, okay, she gets worn out or beaten sometimes. You know, she's working with people all day. Sometimes you get the sniffles or whatever, right? And
Oh my God,
She
DSP.
works-
Like, how old is Cat?
Okay. She gets worn out or beaten sometimes. You know, she's working with people all day. Sometimes you get the sniffles or whatever.
Why? Like, I don't know why I'm getting like, worked up about the word sniffles. I guess I just cringe at the idea of a 40-plus-year-old man saying the sniffles when he could just say, yeah, she just felt under the weather like a normal person. I don't know why. Like, it's just the cringe factor.
Whatever, right? And it's kind of what happened is she worked a string of days this weekend into Tuesday, all the way through Tuesday. And we knew our day off was Wednesday. But this is the problem is, if you haven't noticed, our schedule has been changing a lot this year. First we had Thursdays off, then we had Wednesdays off, then for a while we had Thursdays off, and now we have Wednesdays off again. Okay?
Now, it's funny that he says, oh, it's been shuffling, man, but he said he wanted the days off to be those days, though. They've been trying to make the day off a Wednesday. They made it a Wednesday. Oh, now it's just randomly a Wednesday. Okay.
Because of that,
Because of
alright.
that?
it's just it's changing, it's fluctuating like this. It's screwing everything up. All right, it is.
Dude,
Screwing everything.
I just want you to think about this. DSP is complaining about a schedule that isn't his schedule. And this dude has the most flexible schedule, and he's It's like this dude really wants to get to complain about work stuff, but he can't because he could change his schedule on the fly. But he convinces himself he can't, man. He can't do it on the fly.
Everything up, and we can't have consistency. And when there's no consistency, that's when this kind of stuff happens. So she's been working nights, then she's working days, then she's working nights, then she's working days again. And this week was supposed to be like the first week where we're going to have consistency. But we changed our day off to be Wednesday, but now it looks like she's going to be working Mondays and Tuesdays every week, and then maybe other days fluctuating. So because of that, you know, she worked 3 days this last week straight, and then she's tired as shit and didn't feel good. So I told her, I was like, listen, if you don't feel good, why are we going to pressure ourselves on our day off to go out and do it?
No, this is massive clown. I hate when he does this shit because so when Christmas comes around this year, pay attention to what he's gonna say. Just pay attention. Because he's gonna say, oh, I have Christmas day off. My only day off in the year, man. This is my only real day off. The other days off, I'm busy, man. I'm so busy, man. And now he's like, well, let's not pressure ourselves this day off. Let's stay home and relax.
A million things. That doesn't make sense. If you don't feel good, then let's just have a more relaxing day at home. Luckily for us, the things that we wanted to do on the day off were not like, it wasn't like a doctor's appointment or something like that.
Then this is such an insane fucking segment. Because he literally was saying, oh, we had a lot to do today. Oh, thank God we didn't have a lot to do today. It was like a very light day for our day off. Again, coming from the dude who says that the only day off that was like super important, or that they have a day off in the year is Christmas. But now it's like, see how fucking fake this dude is? This dude loves to give you the image of, oh, he's a worn down workaholic, man. Oh, Christmas Day is the only day he has off, man. Like the average American who works every day and he gets the Christmas Day off, man. But that's not factually true. It's so stupid to listen to his day off segments because it's all contradictions to everything.
For once, for a change, it wasn't like an appointment we had to be at. It was more, you know, things we could do kind of at any time. So because of that, we're like, all right, instead of having our very busy day out, we'll just have a day at home. And that's what we did. So essentially,
he had multiple days at home, by the way. But guys, remember, he can't do that. He can only have a day at home with his wife on Christmas. So these other days, he just stayed at home with Kat. What were they doing?
Yesterday, I went out and did my usual errands, which is like grocery shopping, and I got some stuff for Jasper Kitty and things like that. I think I picked up one of the things that we had ordered. I had to get it at a store and stuff like that. And then I came home, and after we unpacked and relaxed, we just ordered some food. We ordered some Hawaiian food, which was good. We love the Hawaiian barbecue.
Oh, thank God you
I
ordered
chicken.
Hawaiian
She
food,
had chicken,
dude.
too. Yeah, we both had chicken.
Okay,
and,
chicken.
And we relaxed, and we watched the entirety of Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince.
Oh,
We
maybe
got
that's why
almost
she's
through all
sick.
the
She
Harry
watched a
Potter
shitty
movies. We've now
movie.
watched 6 of them. Okay, in the last couple of weeks, we've been kind of
Oh,
burning
that's
through them.
disgusting.
So we've watched 6 of them.
Awful.
Now, and we're moving on
God
to the
damn.
Deathly Hallows 1 and 2 now. And once
I feel sorry for
watch
Jasper.
all of those,
That's
I'm going to do a
awful.
special Harry Potter retrospective video for DSP Reacts, where I'm going to tell you my overall thoughts on the Potter series, and also kind of talk about, now having played Hogwarts Legacy, how those games tie into that and how fun it was to see those references in the movie and things like that. It's going to be neat, a neat video for sure. So that's coming up.
Okay. Shoot
Yeah,
the
so we
water.
did that. We've also been watching someone
Ooh, talking
play
segment.
The Last of Us Part 1 on PC, which is hilarious because the PC
Oh.
version has a lot of issues. So
Hilarious, man. This dude. This dude, man. Okay.
Watching that. So we're doing some different things. We had a
Why didn't he laugh about Callisto Protocol running like shit on consoles? Why didn't he laugh about Cyberpunk running bad on consoles at launch?
Relaxing day at home. We didn't really do anything out special, which kind of sucks because originally.
And also, he says like he doesn't watch stuff to be negative, but isn't it negative to watch a poor port of a game and to laugh at it? You know, like whatever.
The plan was we were gonna have a day out and do a bunch of special stuff, and now
I kind of hope, Loki. I honestly really hope that Sony or whoever is in charge of that port like patches it and it fixes it completely and it's a good game again. And during this playthrough that DSP's watching, it works fine and he can't laugh at it anymore. He's like, damn, the game works again. I want that to happen.
Postponed, because. She was tired and worn out. Luckily, she's not sick, and that's the good thing. She didn't get sick. She was feeling.
Oh my god, dude! This dude is awful. He literally was like, "What? She has the sniffles, man." Well, she's not sick though, so she was just tired. I mean, I get it. She has a job on like DSP, so I see. That's the thing. I get at least Kat leaves the house and can actually like. See, the thing is, she has more of a right to complain about retail jobs and all this kind of stuff because she actually works at retail, so she can actually complain about it. DSP, on the other hand, doesn't, and he's complaining, which makes it a whole clown world. But dude, come on.
Weather, but because we actually slept in on our day off and then relaxed at home for most of the day, it ended up being a more rejuvenating day for us. And overall, I think it worked out because now she seems to be back to her self. It's not like she's all worn out and sick or anything.
But now she's at work, right? Correct?
But it sucks. It sucks having to schedule all over the place. Now, it looks like, like I said, at the least for the foreseeable future, she'll be working like every Monday, Tuesday, but we're not sure about other days of the week. They may change. And because of that, it's like, well, should we have Wednesday or Thursday off as our day off every week? We don't know because it could fluctuate. And now we're debating. Should we have it be Wednesday or Thursday? Maybe we should have it be Thursday. Because then if she's absolutely going to work every week, Monday, Tuesday, there are going to be some days she's going to feel like crap the next day. Maybe that could be a recuperation day for her. And then we have a whole day out together on Thursday. So we're debating.
Or I got another. No. I got a question. Why? So why? Well, no. I was gonna say like DSP could go out and do errands, right? On Wednesday, the day off, and then you can spend time with Kat the next day or whatever. But that's not gonna necessarily work. But then why not spend the day off with Kat recuperating with her, and then Kat can go out and do some errands? Like, why doesn't he trust Kat to do errands? I mean, I believe in her. I believe in Kat. I think she can do some grocery shopping. I think she's capable. You know, like. Maybe he needs to write a list down for her. Give her a list, and then she could go to the store, and she could just go down the list. I mean, and then tell her, you know, if she gets confused, if they don't have the exact product, to say, get something that's similar to it. I don't know. Like, you know, I believe in Kat. I mean, I know it's easy to say that she's dumb and she can't do anything, but, you know, I believe in her. I think she can do some errands on her own.
All of this, okay? And it just sucks. It would have been great.
I believe in Kat more than DSP. Think about that.
I can't really tell you because we didn't really do much, but it was fun, relaxing, and we watched Harry Potter, which was good. It's not like we had a bad day. That was the opposite. It was a good day home. It's just not what we were planning originally. Okay.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get to shout-outs. Like I said, this is an abridged podcast, so I'm trying to keep it moving. We start off today. There's absolutely no contributions on the YouTube.
All right. I think one of the things I want to talk about, Aquatil has the clip, so I'll just go straight there. Boop, 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 boop.
Anso Kamaru has tipped me $2. Says, well, I 100% agree. Dead Island 2 looks generic and open world with like drivel. It seems like you're contradictory on your use of public perception. If you like a game that's considered bad by public perception, like Callisto Protocol, you call everyone wrong and insult others. If a game has bad reviews that you're not interested in, you say reviewers are right and the game is bad. If a game gets raving reviews and a high public perception, but you're not interested in it, you'll say reviewers and everyone are wrong. I think you should stop going on very condescending rants about games that you haven't played that end up hurting your brand perception. It's called having an opinion.
He completely missed the point of what the dude was saying. Because the thing is, it's one thing to say, like, yeah, I'm not interested in the game. Like, that's all he has to say. Honestly, about Dead Island 2, he could have said, I'm not interested in the game. But instead, it's like, yeah, man, like, everyone says the game is garbage and, like, repetitive, man. See, I was right the whole time. Like, come on.
Are you aware that
And then,
in
like,
life,
with Callisto Protocol, when that game was, like, hated on, he was like, well, these people are fucking idiots, and they're stupid, and, like, they just said it was bad because they suck at the game. But that's survival horror, man. But the game sucks. Sorry, Deansby, the game sucks.
you can have an opinion on something? So let me put this into perspective. some specific
And again, look at Cult of the Lamb. He has not even played it, and he thinks that all the people who like the game are all like sheep, and it's all a fad. But he never played it. I don't even think he knows what it is. He just heard the name and thinks it's stupid.
some specifics, okay? First of all, you guys know I really like survival horror games, correct? You guys know that. You guys also know I'm a huge fan of Dead Space, correct?
Correct.
And you know that Callisto Protocol, which was the game made by the previous makers of Dead Space, was hyped and was covered and was coming out in January, right? Now, I was very hyped for this game because it's for the makers of original Dead Space, but it's a new outing. I'm excited for this. So what ends up happening is reviewers start coming out and reviewing the game. I take a look at their reviews, and, you know, based on what they're saying, I deem that basically what they're saying is kind of unfair, all right? They're criticizing the game for things that Dead Space itself is known for and saying they're bad things.
So, Dead Space was known to have shitty combat? I mean, yeah, the melee combat in Dead Space isn't good, but you could shoot limbs off. I mean, I don't know. I don't know about that, man.
And I said, how much do you want to bet? There's some kind of an agenda here. That these people, number one, either aren't good enough to play this game and enjoy it because the game is tougher than most survival horror games and they suck at it, so they're pissy about it.
No, the game sucks. Like, literally, the game sucks. And it's so stupid that he says this, too. Because if that's the case, then wouldn't every FromSoft review poorly? Every FromSoft game? Because that's a hard game. No. I mean, the most that game gets is people saying that it needs an easy mode. But I don't see the scores, tanking because of it.
Or number two, there's something going on where EA is coming out with Dead Space Remake in January while Callisto Protocol came out in December.
This is a dumb
they
conspiracy.
want to hype up the one that's going to be beneficial for them to hype.
Because this makes literally no sense. So how would it... Okay, so let's say that they say Callisto Protocol is a great game, an amazing game. How would it hurt them to hype up both? Why can't they hype up both games? Wouldn't that even benefit them more? Because they're hyping two games to get attention. See, this conspiracy doesn't really work because it lacks like a motive. The motive is kind of weak. Like, at least with like the mobile game, there's a motive in the sense that Disney just really wants a Hogan, and he likes the game. Like, that's a motive for him to be addicted to WWE champions, and he has addiction problems in the past. That's why that conspiracy theory works, because there's like a motive and a pattern. But what motive does a gaming journalist have to shitting on one game to bolster the other? Unless they're like they're like it doesn't really make sense. Unless like it makes more sense for EA to do that. But EA isn't going to do that because they're already hyping up their own game. Like, whatever.
So, of course, they're going to say the competitor isn't as good, so they can hype up the other one and say it's better, and that way they profit from it. So I called this out. I played Callisto Protocol. I do feel the reviewers were absolutely unfair to it. Now, there were some criticisms that I feel were valid. The game was not perfect. It had flaws. But it was not an awful game or a horribly inferior game like they were saying in their reviews. exactly what I said was correct. These reviewers were not good enough to learn the new mechanics of the game and enjoy it because they just wanted to run and gun through it like Dead Space. And it wasn't just them, okay? It was other content creators as well. There were several high-profile content creators that turboed through this game, rushed through it, or quit it because they didn't want to play it and learn it. They wanted it to be just like all their other survival horror games. Sorry, it's not.
Wait, what?
Content creators that turboed through this game, rushed through it, or
Yeah, Maximilian turbo through it.
quit it because they didn't want to play it and learn it. They wanted it to be just like all their.
Now look at this, dude. Look at this. He says all of this, like, oh, they turbo through it and this and that. They didn't want to play it. DSP has dropped games in the past, and he said, well, I dropped it because it was boring and I didn't care for it. How does he know that that's the case for them? How does he know so much about these other content creators?
Other survival horror games. Sorry, it's not like Resident Evil 4. Sorry, it's not Dead Space. It's a different entity.
But you just said Callisto Protocol is like did the things that Dead Space did, but now it's not Dead Space? Huh.
And they didn't want to bother with that. To them, they didn't see enough positive benefit from it to learn it. Instead, they just wanted to say, fuck this, and create shock headlines. So-and-so rage quits game because they say it sucks. Oh, you see?
You see?
So they feel like they benefited more from that than actually playing through the game. Okay?
Okay.
So I called it out for what it was. I played the game, and I enjoyed it very much.
Yeah, but like it's one thing to say, "Oh, I enjoy the game. I like the game." Yeah, it's hated. Like Soul Hackers 2. A lot of people were disappointed with that game, and I get the disappointment, but I like that game. I'm not gonna sit there and come up with conspiracy theories why people don't like Soul Hackers 2. Because it's like, yeah, it's not like there's things about the game that I'm not like super huge on, but I overall enjoyed the game. But I'm not gonna sit there and be like, yeah, the game's terrible. Fuck Soul Hackers 2, man. Oh, the game's great. Oh, these other people who dislike it, they're idiots. They're like I only go as far as to say that I feel like some of the criticisms might be a little bit harsh, but I do think overall the game is fun. Like I think it's a fun game, and it's on Game Pass as well, so it's worth checking out.
Did I love it? Well, it was good, but it definitely had some flaws and shortcomings, but it was still a great game and way better than the reviewers gave it credit for. Okay? Then I played the Dead Space remake the month later, and what happens? It's literally Dead Space 1 with better graphics and a few tweaks. Still a great game, but it's Dead Space 1. All the reviewers, 10 out of 10, perfect experience. I said, this is exactly what I said was going to happen. Literally. Exactly what was going to happen. They were going to kiss this game's ass because it's what they're used to, and probably what they benefit from kissing their...
They're used to Dead Space 1 playing like Dead Space 1. Now, this dude complained about Final Fantasy VII Remake not being Final Fantasy VII. He's like, yeah, man, this game is like a remake, but it's a lie, man. They changed the ending. But now that, like, this game plays like Dead Space 1, oh, it's stupid, man. They got what they wanted, man. Yeah, they bought Dead Space 1.
Their butt up. Kissing Callisto Protocol's butt didn't help them. Kissing...
But why wouldn't it help them? Okay.
But with EA behind...
Oh, because it's a bad... So the only way that it makes sense that it wouldn't help them if they were positive about Callisto Protocol is that it's a bad game and they're being positive about a bad game.
Oh, that helps these media outlets hugely. You see?
Why? Why?
So...
Why would that... Whatever.
Sorry, that's being honest. Now, I understand what Anso Kamara was saying.
Oh, okay.
But at the same time... Alright?
But see, he needed he needed a conspiracy theory to defend his dumb point about Callisto. He needed that conspiracy theory, but he has no proof of this. He's basing it off of the reviews being positive about Dead Space 1, which is like a very weak fucking proof.
I am someone who is pulled in a million directions. Alright? I am. Even though I don't even have a giant viewer base. I mean, arguably, how many people...
But the other thing is, that's really funny that he's saying this. He's saying this about a game he actually played versus a game he's not even playing. How does he know Dead Island 2? Like, yeah, you know what? Actually, in reality, this kind of... makes him look even worse, because he's kind of admitting that he listened to a reviewer that was swayed by a remake and not by Callisto, listening to them and saying, okay, yeah, so they said that Dead Island 2 is bad, so I'm not gonna even bother playing it. So you're not gonna play a game because the reviewers that reviewed positively about Dead Island 2, I mean, Dead Space 1 didn't like Dead Island 2. Like, it's all confusing, and it's so meaningless. Like, this dude cannot have an opinion of his own and leave it at that. He can't just say, I'm not interested in Dead Island 2 and leave it at that. He has to bring up reviewers. Then the next day say reviewers are dumb and they're shills, and we should never listen to them. This isn't the days of magazines.
What do I get on a stream? A few hundred? How many people watch my videos? A few hundred to maybe 1,000, right? Only for bigger playthroughs do I get thousands of people watching. All right? Let's be honest. I'm definitely not a popular guy anymore. I know that. But I also know that my viewer base that is dedicated to watching me appreciates my honesty and appreciates that I try to put my efforts towards projects and things that I know are going to be worth everyone's time. All right?
All right.
People are still in this mindset that I am 2012 DSP, that I'm the guy who doesn't stream, who doesn't have a schedule that's busy, that instead I just sit around playing games offline all day. And I have time to play every new release coming out every week, and I can even play the shitty ones. And that way I can give you my honest opinion on all of them. That was the old formula of old school DSP. But old school DSP didn't interact with it.
Okay, let's look at some of his Dead Island 2 statements.
Dead Island 2 is coming out April 21st, says Team Heavy. Oh, okay. I'll have to look into that later. I don't even know if I'm interested in it, honestly. Look at this room.
Doesn't know he's interested. Okay, that's one.
Am I going to play Dead Island 2? I have absolutely no clue.
No clue.
I don't think it's going to be very good, just being honest. I don't know what DK Oldies is. Dead Island 2 is supposedly coming out on April 28th. I have absolutely no clue if I'm playing that or not. The only reason I threw that in there is because it's curiosity purposes. Again, here's a game that no one even knew was still in development. Then they announced it. Then they fucking delayed it anyway. So we'll see what happens with that. And then in May, Zelda Tears of the Fallen.
Tears.
An audience, okay, didn't get pulled in a million directions by said audience because I didn't listen to the audience. I just played whatever.
He says this, and then he's like, "Oh, people think this and that," but the only reason why they ask him to play Dead Island 2 is because he kept saying, "I don't. Maybe I will, man. If you guys tell me that, maybe I will play it." People tell him to play it. I can't play it, man. Too many games.
I wanted. And because of that, I skipped a ton of games that you guys were interested in. I very rarely went back and played retro games. I very rarely played anything but a main AAA release. And by the way, my playthroughs back then were very different than today. They were rushed. I skipped most side content. I was just going turbo through the story, finish the game within a few days, trade it in, get to the next game. And a lot of people...
But he does that now, though. When he knows he starts putting games on counters, like on countdowns. Oh, we're only like this amount of hours away from the end. Okay, so it's gonna take us like 2 more streams, man. Okay, we can finish in 2 more streams, man. Okay, and then when he's at the final stream, he gets mad if the game like takes longer to beat.
Very strongly criticized my gameplay back then, saying it was shitty. Okay, so today, being an interactive streamer and putting out more
like there was a recent game.
Right,
what was it? It was a game he really wanted to finish recently, and he was getting mad and yelling, saying like, "Oh, I wanted to chill with the viewers, and this game's taking so long, man." What was it? I know Signalis was one of them, but there was another one recently. Damn, what was it? I don't think it was Like a Dragon Ishin. Can't remember.
Take my time with the games. I can't just do what I used to do anymore. You understand that? All right? You're right. In the old days, I likely would have said, hey, all these reviewers are saying Dead Island 2 isn't very good. Let's play it together and judge for ourselves. And I would buy the game and I would play it.
But he did that with Callisto Protocol, though.
Say, wow, we played it 2 streams. That game's a piece of dog shit. It sucks ass. Let's slam it together publicly. And we would. And we'd laugh at how bad the game was, and it would make my worst games of the year countdown. Right? or excuse me, most disappointing games. In the
Oh,
countdown.
oops. He said worst game countdown, but it was just disappointing. So
Right?
right?
That was the old Phil.
Old Phil.
But that was many, many, many years ago. You understand? Because I've changed. I'm not that same guy. I don't know how people don't understand that I've changed. The moment that I became a full-time streamer that started making more meaningful content, interactive content for an audience that I care about, and I want to make sure that when you're watching my content, you're getting something good out of it. It's not just me ranting at a bad game and acting like an asshole. I changed from being that guy. You understand? So
Understand?
I can't play every
Correct.
shitty game. In fact, I would skip most shitty games or games that are commonly known to be shitty because I'd rather put out meaningfully good content for you. I'm not the angry game reviewer who screams at every bad game and puts that content out anymore. I changed for the better. And most people agree.
Oh my god, dude.
But
This
I
dude is like hitting his mic every time he turns his chair. Fix your shit, man.
understand that there's some people out
God
there
damn.
that are upset because they want to see me play all these new games and I'm not playing them, right? But we already had this discussion earlier in the week. Game developers need to start actually putting effort in and making more meaningful, better games now. It's not enough.
What's meaningful though? This dude, it says meaningful, but it's like a very like abstract thing you can ask for, because what's meaningful to you may not be meaningful to me. Whatever. Like what how can you quantify meaningful? See, this dude says meaningful so much it lost all meaning on him. He doesn't know what he means by this. Like, it needs to be meaningful. Like, does it need to tell a story about like real life? Does it need to be something that's like, like does it need to have some kind of meaning or message about our society? But don't we play games as an escape? Like, what's meaningful?
Enough to just pump out a functional game. Now you have to pump out a meaningful game. And that's really the problem. Functional versus meaningful. Just because you made a functional game doesn't even need to exist. Dead Island 2. Tell me what space in gaming that's filling. How many of us have been screaming, we need an open world zombie killing game? This is a game that's 10 years outdated. 10 years out.
But Resident Evil 4 came out recently. That's a zombie game. Oh no, man, it's parasites, man. Plagas. But that's kind of a zombie game. And he didn't say that, well, who's asking for this, man?
Outdated.
Actually, he did say that. When they first announced it, he said, who's asking for a Resident Evil 4 remake? And then he played it and loved it.
This was supposed to be a game that would have been popular during the zombie craze of The Walking Dead. Who the fuck even talks about The Walking Dead in 2023? This is a bygone era of gaming. There's no reason even.
It's funny saying this, but he complains about how there's not a lot of horror games, and then he says this about Dead Island.
It's a fart in the wind. It's like, why are we talking about it? And then on top of that, it's apparently not very good. On top of all of that, you see?
A 7 out of 10 is not good? Didn't he also tell us that a 7 out of 10 isn't a bad game either? Okay.
So I understand what you're saying, but again, when I'm being pulled in so many directions, when I have limited time.
But this is stupid. The dude's saying that he's condescending with his argument, and he's saying all this stuff, and he's kind of in a way saying that he hides behind this because he's playing too many games or whatever. But it's like, so you're only so what's the point? Why not just say I'm not interested in this game and leave it at that? Why make it such a grandstanding notion that I'm not playing this game because the review said it's this, or that all the people say is this, but it looks like that? Like, why not just say I'm not interested in it? And then people say, well, the reviewer say it's good. It's like, okay, like, I'm just not interested in playing it. Like, this dude loves the smell of his own fucking farts.
Because I'm a different kind of creator now. I have to pick and choose the best projects for my audience. I know that I'm going to get meaningful content out of a game like Oblivion. This is a playthrough where I learned the game on the fly from the live audience. People have helped me every step of the way. We have fun interactions, and people who've been there for those streams love it. Absolutely love it.
They love it,
right?
man.
Final Fantasy is a game near and dear to my heart. I grew up playing the classic Final Fantasies. This will be a series that will mean something to an audience. As opposed to, oh, Phil played Dead Island and mashed buttons and killed a bunch of zombies for 2 streams and swore at the game because it sucks. Ha ha ha. That's brainless.
But what if the game is good? He literally said that reviewers were dunking on Callisto Protocol because they sucked at the game and all this stuff. So how does he know that's not the case for Dead Island 2? Maybe they suck at the game, DSP, and maybe the game's actually really good. They just suck at it.
Melting drivel content. I'd much rather put out more meaningful shit. Seriously. So, sorry you don't understand that, but things change over time. Alright? And you might, it's hypocritical. Well, there's some cases where I have to listen to public opinion because I can't clone myself. I don't have money and time to play every game.
Oh
Sorry.
my god.
I wish I did. I wish that.
It's hypocritical. DSP said he wasn't interested in Dead Island 2 in the beginning of this. He was open to listen if people wanted him to play it. People said, I want to see you play it, and he says, no man, the reviewer said it's bad. DSP, you are so fucking annoying about this. He literally stated in the past for months, I'm not interested in the game, but if you guys want to see me play it, let me know. The chat lets him know, well, the viewers say it's bad. Oh, but in reality, the reason why he doesn't want to play it is because he's playing too many games. Like, DSP, like, this is like a kid who goes to a buffet, puts all his food on his plate, and then like he sits down and eats like 10% of it. Then when mom or dad tells him, why did you get all that food? I can't be pulled in many directions. Everyone said this was good slop. Like, come on. That may not be a good example, but like, you know what I mean. You know what I'm trying to get at. It's just so stupid. This dude says all this verbal diarrhea, and he can't even sit there and say, I wasn't interested at the beginning of when the game was announced, so I didn't want to play it. He can't even stick with that. That was the very first thing he said, and then he hides behind reviewers, and that's the reason he does this shit. He hides behind public opinion if he doesn't want or wants to do something. He can never ever stand for what he says. This has always been an issue with him because this dude has no backbone, literally in any meaning of the word. And then he wonders why people get mad at him and why people troll him and all this other stuff. It's not that DSP is a toxic individual. He's toxic in cases, sure, but he's also not very he has no integrity.
I could have more time and means, but no, the day that I became a full-time streamer, things changed. For the better, in my opinion. I think most people would agree. Look at my content since 2017 to now. Compare that with the old-style content I used to put out, where I used to be the guy who played every shit game and ranted and raved about them all. Right? So, that's my take. If you disagree, you have your right to disagree, and that's fine.
Oh, we do?
You're not going to change my mind on a game that I have no interest in. I was half interested until people told us what it was. I said, that's exactly what I thought it was going to be. And that's nothing I'm interested in playing. I'm not wasting my time, your time, money, or anything like that when we could do anything else that's going to be more meaningful. Sorry.
How does he know it's not meaningful, though? How does he know that? Whatever. Let's do the Epignosis video, and then that'll be it. How long is this video?
You're welcome. Giant Enemy Crab says, thank you so much for the community. I love it here. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad
thank
that
you,
like
Giant
the
Enemy
community.
Crab.
So here's the thing. Giant Enemy Crab is relatively new to the community, to my knowledge.
Relatively new.
Giant Enemy Crab, you've been around for a little bit.
Correct.
But you haven't been here long term.
I love that Giant Enemy Crab is getting a platform. This dude picks this dude and he's like, yeah, you like it here, right, man? Like, okay, add some pressure.
Here's
to
the
him.
funny part about this.
All right,
You
what's
enjoy
funny?
the daily streams, correct, Giant Enemy Crab, and you like the vibe around here. It's chill, it's relaxing, we have a good time, right?
Right? Correct.
Would you be aware, and I'm just gonna warn you, with the toxicity and the negativity and all the
Look
crap
how much
on-
this dude baits his viewers to like suck his ass. He yells at Elon for Elon wanting people to pay for Twitter Blue and all this shit. But look at him. He's like sitting there like, yeah, Johnny McCrab, you love my content, right? You love my videos, right? You come here and you say that and you enjoy what we do, right? Correct? You love me? You love me, Johnny McCrab? You love me, right? You love me? Like, why does this dude wants so much validation from all these random people? He can't just sit there and be like, oh man, you like the streams? Oh, cool, man. And it's like, yeah, you love it here, right? Johnny McCrab, you love it here, right? You're a relatively new guy. Do you think I'm a toxic guy, right? And it's kind of like making it more awkward. Like, what does he expect Johnny McCrab to say? Yeah, Phil, you're pretty toxic. Of course he's not gonna say that. Like, dude, this is like needless pressure on a viewer. Like, and I'm sitting thinking to myself, like, how would I feel if I go to someone's stream and then they start singling out this one dude says, "You love it here, right? You just started watching it. You love it here, right? You love the streams, right? You come here every day. You love this, right? You love my streams, right?" I'd be like, holy shit, this dude is like either insecure about its own fucking content or like there's something else going on here.
On the internet. You're not aware of any of that kind of negative crap, right? You're just here on the streams enjoying with us,
Well,
correct?
you talk about makes him aware of it. And how does he know he's not aware? How does he know he's being genuine? What if he's being a fucking troll, man? He's just like, that's the other thing. He has so many people in his community that pretend to like him. So many people. And it's hard to like to discern real fans from like the troll fans. The only ones we know are real fans are Jade and Derek.
Because I don't think we've had a single like negative thing really happen in the last month. It's been pretty smooth, right? It's been a
What
pretty
does that
smooth,
mean?
interesting month.
Nothing
of
happened.
content.
What does that mean?
Because how funny is it, right?
Is it?
That if you go outside of the realm of these streams and you go on the internet, like on YouTube, and there's so many toxic, messed up people who just constantly do toxic, messed up content about everything,
Like
including
what?
me and everything else, but me as well. You know, me, I'm a focus of a lot of these people. And it's like,
But how is it toxic and negative if I make a video saying that, wow, his take on Dallin 2 is pretty dumb? Like, all this video is just saying is that he got some news stories factually wrong. His Dallin 2 is full of contradictions that he put out himself. Like, that's not really super evil, toxic content. That's just me giving out my opinion about it. Okay.
so if you just sit here and you watch the content and you hang out with me, it's positive and it's great, right?
Right? Correct.
So I have to ask, where does the toxicity and the negativity really come from? Because these people like to say it's
Aquatil did not have this clip, but he came back from his little mini knot break and yelled at his chat for demanding Dallin 2 and banned them all. And said, "I had enough. Okay, everyone scream about Dallin 2. You're gone. Okay, I told you guys I was not interested. I was never intending to play the game, and you guys are yelling at me about the game." But DSP has kind of teased the idea of listening to his viewers if they want to see him play it. He then says no, and then says he never intended to play it, which then makes me think, if he never intended to play Dead Island 2, why then put it out as a possibility then? If you didn't intend to play it. So that's not being toxic? Where you put out a general idea, a potential idea, and then when people want it, you then yell at them for wanting it and then ban them. That's not being toxic. Okay.
it's Phil does it and everything. It's like, actually, no.
No.
We don't do that here. I don't promote toxicity. I don't want negativity on my stream.
People are not saying you promote toxicity. People saying you are toxic. And when people say you're toxic, like, this is, like, how dumb this is, though. Like, he's saying, see, I'm toxic every day. No one is saying you're toxic every day. This is a classic abuser mentality, where the abuser tries to convince you that he's not being abusive every day. I'm not abusing you like every second of every day, man. I'm just abusing you like, once you piss me off. Like, that's what's going on. This is all abuser playbook shit. Like, that's the one thing I like about Adam's like, little take where he laughs. He's like, this is what an abuser says. Because he pulls so much out of it. Every time he says this kind of stuff, this is what abusers do to try to gaslight the victim into staying with them. I mean, sure, it is kind of extreme to say that DSP is abusing his audience, but this is the kind of mental gymnastics that they pull on their victims.
I just want everyone to chill and relax here and have a good time with this community. But it's all these other people on the outside that have become this toxic, nasty, really bad.
But you respond to it. Like, that's the thing. He says that, I respond to that. The trolls bring it in, and I'm just banning and responding to it. Yeah, if you just don't bring attention to it, that's one thing. But, like, he has to say something about it. And then when he doesn't say anything about it, he says some offhanded comment down the road where it says, yeah, man, I get trolls all the time. Like,
made these things, you know, so bad for everyone. And they do it on purpose because they get over doing it. You know what I mean? Some of them have made money over the years doing it. The whole nonsense, drama, conspiracy level content is just so stupid. And you know what? Maybe things are now going to get better. And the reason I say that is it seems like we're kind of past that time. Like, I don't really feel that shit anymore, being honest. Like, I'm not feeling that toxic negativity.
He has said this ever since he went to Twitch for the second time, like in 2017. And then after 2018, he has told us that he's over the toxicity and drama every year. This is all cope for him. He's just coping. He's saying it out loud, therefore it must be true.
Anymore here on the streams. I'm feeling like
It's pretty much him trying to convince himself that this isn't the case. Like, yeah, literally, he's not like constantly making drama vlogs, but he's still a shitty person. And the interview didn't really help him either.
All gotten past it. And that's a good thing, because we were kind of stuck in it for a while.
How?
I think that possibly just doing what...
And this is stupid that we were stuck in for a while. What were we stuck in? He did the React channel in February that he wanted. He didn't have any other drama going on in the beginning of the year. Like, in reality, DSP didn't have any drama for a long time. The only drama he had was stuff that he brought up himself. That he made out of his own drama. But we're just now out of it? Okay.
What I did, as much as some people say, oh, it backfired. Actually, I think it did exactly what it was intended to do.
Now, the interview stuff is, he's desperate to make it into a W. He's just pushing a circular peg in a square hole. It's because the whole point when he told us about this interview was to clear the air and to exonerate his claims and to prove the trolls wrong and all this stuff to debunk people. This is the same shit he did when he did that debunk stream in 2018 or 2019. The trolls have to eat crow, man. And then like a week later, no one cared about it, and it went on like business as usual, because this dude is claiming that the interview was supposed to like clear up and he was gonna do a part 2 and all this stuff, and he liked it. And then he's like, well, no, man, the whole point was so that the drama can be over with, man. But then he made a whole drama video after it, crying about them saying things about the interview that he didn't like. He's really just trying to fool himself into thinking that that there's nothing wrong here. And if he really wants to sit there and say that the interview wasn't a failure or that it didn't go so badly, then maybe you shouldn't have done that complete rant video coping about it. And all that, because if it went the way you wanted it to, then why don't you do a part 2 then? Why swear them off? Why say, oh, fuck Craig and Adam, if it did what you wanted them to do? Okay.
It made all those people who are toxic and negative move on to the toxic negative stuff outside of the streams, and now I can just be with you guys on the streams, because I told you.
So this is what he thinks that it did. He thinks that since he approached it drove all the trolls to Adam and Craig, and they're gonna stay there forever and ever, and they'll never come back. Which is, and these guys had this mentality for a lot of things, and it's the dumbest mentality to have because it doesn't make sense, because that's not how people work. Because especially on the internet, you can't just quarantine people off the internet. They're gonna just go back. They can always go back to DSP gaming. This is really stupid.
I'm done addressing
this is also assuming that there's not gonna be any future drama to happen. Like, how do we know there's nothing else that's gonna happen?
Toxicity and negativity on these streams. I'm completely done with it. People try to come into derailment. Nope, bye. I shut them right down and get them out.
Again, that has happened before. He has shut down the drama before, last year, the year before, and all this stuff. He has put his foot down on so many trolls in the past that it's probably a nub at this point.
I don't pay attention to that shit anymore. I don't want to hear about any of the shit that people are doing or saying. There's any kind of nasty shit. I'm not involved. I'm literally not involved. I'm in this room every day, relaxing with you guys, playing fun games. That's it. I'm not involved in any of
He
the.
wasn't involved with the Aftermath podcast that the side scrollers did, and then DSP complained about it, and then he said that they need to agree with him about how they do the debrief. It's kind of wild, right? Correct?
The nonsense that they make up. And I refuse to be at this point. You
He
know,
refuses.
I really do feel that perhaps, even though initially there was a lot of stress, that I think that we've gotten to the point where now we're at the place we wanted to get to. You know what I'm saying? I think so.
What do I think about that?
Giant Enemy Crab says, so just listen, I consider Giant Enemy Crab an outsider.
God. Listen to this.
Right? Because he's only been here for about a month. But by the way, you're very welcome, Giant Enemy Crab. But I want you to understand, you're coming in from a different perspective than a lot of people. It says, I discovered you through your Bulletstorm gameplay from years ago. It brought me to your channel here. I've not seen anything toxic from you, just trolls come in once or twice a stream. Exactly right. Exactly right. All you got to do is chill.
Crab didn't think it was toxic that he yelled at people for wanting him to play Dial 2. Okay.
That's it.
That's
just be a positive person and not being some kind of a toxic troll, and everything's good here, right?
Remember the 50-bit
We've had a great time.
Yeah, man. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
How
that's
was
what
your
I want.
taste?
That's the kind of community I want, man. People just relaxing, chilling, enjoying games at face value, having a good time.
He says that, but there were people complaining about Final Fantasy V, and he was like mad about that. But whatever. So yeah, that's that. Thank you for watching this video. Is there a new tweet? Did he make a new tweet, man? Let's refresh. Okay, man, he's buzzing with spring fun. No tweet. Let's go to DSP Reacts for a bit. Let's just do a little mini check-in.
Hello, everyone.
Oh my god, worst ranking video I've ever seen. Yeah, just this. Okay. Alright. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys next time. It was a fun time for all. Trying to find full. There we go. It was a fun time for all. Hope you enjoyed it, and hope to see you next time.
Time to skedaddle on out of here.